Okay, just got to get set up. I think I'm set up already, but no. There's stuff to do. So, meditation's coming. Oh, that's the wrong one. God. Coming. Okay, nearly there. Now, for some reason, Facebook just didn't happen. Not sure why that is, but we will try and get it back now. I'm off, bit off. Meditation's coming. I just got to turn off one thing and turn it back on again, see if I can get Facebook up and running. For some reason, it just wouldn't connect. So I'll give it one more try and see how we get on. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? Meditation's coming. Okay, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's just not connecting to Facebook. Okay, so for everyone on Facebook, sorry about that. We'll begin. How are you? How's the day going? You well? I hope you're well. It's fine if you're not. Not every day is going to be a great day, but I hope it's a good day. So we're going to do a bit of meditation. It's not a class, it's just a chance to meditate together. So if you're familiar with meditation, if you're experienced, if you've done it before, great. Can you hang on for a minute though while I explain what I do, just for the benefit of people who are new to meditation? There's lots of different styles of meditation. This is what I do. For me, it starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect to a part of me that I connect to every night when I'm asleep. Not the dreaming bit, but the bit after dreaming, the deep dreamless sleep part. So I'm dreaming and then I drop into deep dreamless sleep where I have no thoughts, no memories, no personality, no emotions, no feelings. I don't have a body, I don't have a bedroom, I don't have a house, I don't have anything. Don't even have me, because I cease to exist. Certainly in the way that I normally register that I'm existing. Which all, that sounds awful on paper. That sounds like death. And yet, I love going to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that that's a good place that I go to. And that's the place I want to go to when I meditate. I just want to do it consciously. So if you're new to meditation, don't try this lying down. Because you'll fall asleep. Or if you don't fall asleep, you'll battle sleep. Both of which are counter to what you were trying to do. So yeah, just sit up. You don't have to sit in a lotus position or anything like that. You can sit in a chair. I'm just sitting on a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure it's not a big comfy armchair that you're going to fall asleep in. So as I said, there's no thoughts in this place. So it's like a room I go into that my mind has to sit outside the door of. So I have to figure a way of working around my mind or working with my mind so that I can kind of part the curtains of my mind to get into this place. So what I do is I just make an arrangement with my mind. I just say, could you just not think for the next 15 minutes while we meditate? And at this stage, my mind is on board with the whole idea. It's done it so many times now. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. But it is an important thing to have your mind on board. So if this is the first time you're meditating, that won't be an issue because it's new. But down the track, if you want to do a meditation practice, like something that you do every day or multiple times a day, then getting your mind on board requires a bit of effort. So that's something I can talk about later, or talk about the Zoom group. Because what I failed to mention when I started was these daily meditations are part of the further emergence work I do. And I'll explain what further emergence is when we're finished the meditation. So my mind is on board, that's good. Next thing is to stop thinking. That's easier than it sounds, because it's easy to stop, because regardless of what I'm thinking about, which would be the content of my thoughts, the structure of my thoughts is always the same. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, that's it, I'm not thinking. And as soon as I do that, stop thinking, as soon as I stop thinking, I'm into the practice of meditation. And the practice of meditation runs parallel to the intention of meditation. So my intention is, as I said earlier on, to go to this deep, still, profound, possibly eternal, calm, Zen-like, trying to think of the other words that I use to describe meditation, that place. And the practice of meditation runs parallel with it, and it starts as soon as I stop thinking. So it pretty much goes, I'll turn off the pictures and I'll turn off the sound. So I'll bring myself to not thinking. Then some time will pass and I'll discover I'm thinking again. So I go, oh, okay, I'm thinking again. So I turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, I bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time will pass and I'll discover I'm thinking again. I go, oh, I'm thinking again. I turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time will pass and I'll discover I'm thinking again, and so on. So it's a process of bringing myself back from thinking every time I discover that I'm thinking. And it's important to know that thinking can happen when you're meditating, because it's easy to get the misconception that in order to meditate correctly, you can't be thinking at all, which isn't the case. These two things, the intention and the practice, go together. They sort of go in a little dance, you know. Sometimes you'll be very deep and still, and then other times you'll be thinking, and you'll be discovering that you're thinking. And both are powerful. It's kind of obvious, the power in when you're in that deep, still, profound, beautiful place. That's very obvious. The power in discovering that you're thinking is not so obvious. Because what happens when you discover that you're thinking and you bring yourself back to not thinking is, indirectly you're saying to yourself or demonstrating to yourself that the thoughts you're having, which if you're like me are usually to do with you. So I'll be thinking, what am I going to do about that thing? Why did I say that to that person? Why did that person say that thing to me? Something like that. So if I'm in the middle of meditation and I'm in the middle of one of those thoughts and I go, oh, I'm thinking, turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking. Indirectly, what I'm saying to myself and what I'm demonstrating to myself is, you know that thought that you were just thinking, the one that you thought was you and you were it? Well, you just made that disappear. So you're not that thought. In fact, you're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. That's pretty powerful. And then the fact that you do that repeatedly is pretty powerful as well. So the main thing is not to, get tied up, or not to add to your thinking by thinking about, oh, I'm just thinking too much here. I shouldn't be thinking so much, or I'm having to bring myself back from thinking how many times. No, don't get into any of that. The main thing is, every time you discover that you're thinking, you bring yourself back to not thinking. Because the amount of times you have to do that changes. Day to day it changes, and morning to afternoon, hour to hour almost. And it doesn't make it better or worse. You could meditate in the morning and not have to bring yourself back from thinking many times, and then you could meditate in the afternoon and you might have to bring yourself back loads of times. And one is not better than the other. Okay? So don't get any of those ideas. The main thing is, every time you discover that you're thinking, you bring yourself back to not thinking, you're doing great. Now, while all that's going on, I'm also letting go of tension in my body, or I'm becoming more aware of my body, is probably a better way of putting it. So I scan my body from my head down to my feet and back up again, very slowly, very gently. Anywhere I find tension, I let it go. And I use my out-breath to let it go, because it's natural to just breathe it away. It's also a good way of remembering to breathe, or to bring my awareness to my breathing, because it's quite easy to hold your breath during meditation. I know that sounds crazy, isn't it? And it's also easy to hold your breath altogether. So using the out breath is just a helpful way of not doing that. The other thing I do as I'm scanning my body is I'm just paying a little bit more attention to any structures in my body that go across my body or transverse. Mostly my body runs longitudinally from my head down to my feet and back up again. Anywhere that goes across acts a little bit like a log going across a stream. You know, it just picks up all the leaves and the twigs and the branches, anything that's coming down the stream. Except in my body's case, that's tension. So I'm spending a little bit more time on my eyes. Their transverse sight can hold a lot of tension. My jaw, my tongue, the base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints, because they're all transverse sides, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, all my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my toes. Having a nice quiet room is very helpful when you're starting out, because one of the things that triggers thoughts is noise. So what happens is, as soon as you close your eyes, your hearing amplifies. So the quieter the room you have, the best chance you'll be giving your mind to have less things to think about. And the other thing I do to help my mind have less things to think about is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. Now I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes because that's the length of the meditation. But if you're new to meditation, I'd suggest that you set yours for 5 minutes and then repeat that 3 times, because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're just starting out and you, even with a timer, around 7 minutes your mind is going to kick in and go, you didn't turn the timer on, you've lost internet connection if you're relying on my timer, or something along like that. So just to avoid that, set your timer for shorter and then repeat that 3 times. Okay, let me have a quick look for questions. Anyone wants to know anything? Nope. Okay, good. All right then. Off we go into the mystery. Okay, if you feel like you've gone very deeply inside, then take a minute to come back from there before you open your eyes. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you lose contact with the inner space, you always just close your eyes again, reconnect. Oh yeah, there it is. Open your eyes again. Oh no, I lost it again. Close your eyes, and so on. You can use your eyes like a valve, to balance the inner space and the outer space. As I said at the beginning, these daily meditations are part of the Further Emergence work that I do. Further Emergence is to do with growth, inner growth, or growth in consciousness, or you could say spiritual growth, or growth in awareness, that kind of growth. When your body is growing as a child, and then you become an adolescent, then you become an adult, and then your body kind of stops growing, but you keep growing on the inside. That doesn't stop. And you only have to think back, 10 years ago to who you were 10 years ago to see that you keep growing. And like when you were a child, you might have gone through periods of accelerated growth, what are called growth spurts. They happen on the inside as well. Exactly the same. And because you keep growing for the rest of your life, those growth spurts keep happening for the rest of your life as well. But when you were a child and you had growth, you were going through a growth spurt and you had growing pains, it's not like your parents brought you to hospital or to the doctor. They would have just said, oh, they're growing pains, they're natural, it'll pass. It's a bit harder with internal growth spurts, because that's the kind of focus of Further Emergence, is those inner growth spurts. And it's harder because it's not so obviously natural. It can feel like you're broken or there's something wrong with you, because they can be disorienting. You can feel like things are speeding up really. The speed of change is going very fast on the inside. So it's almost like one of those things in a movie where you're moving very fast and everyone is in slow motion or almost stopped. You can feel like that. You can feel very distanced from your life, or out of place in your life, your own life, the life you created. You can just sort of wake up and go, who am I in this, and how did this happen, and how am I here? I just don't feel like I fit in this anymore. Those kind of feelings. You can get physical symptoms as well sometimes. It just manifests in different ways for different people. I've been through it myself loads of times, and I've helped loads of people through it as well. So all the Further Emergence things are to help with that process. So these meditations help, because the more familiar you are with your inner space, the easier it is to navigate these inner growth spurts. Then there's a Zoom group every Friday, and that's a chance to meditate a bit more deeply, to have questions and reflection, and to see that there are other people going through it as well, and go, oh, okay, so it's not just me. I'm not the only person going through this. So you can, whatever way you're looking at this, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you can look at the channel, the back on the feed, and you'll see the videos for the different Zoom groups, just to give you an idea what they're like, or the audio from them go to make up the podcast, the Further Emergence podcast, so you can listen to that either. Or you can come along. You're very welcome to come along to one. It's open to everybody. The link, the Zoom link, is on the website, furtheremergence.com. So I do that. What else do? I work with people one-to-one. So tomorrow I'll be working with people all day. I do that twice a week. And that's a combination of talking it through and reflection, which I kind of think of as in front of the scenes. And then I also do behind the scenes work, where the person lies down and I do distance energetic work on the system to help it. Because it's inner work, I can connect with them in that way. I've written 4 books as well. They're all sort of around the subject of Further Emergence. They all got to help as well. So if you've listened to this far, if you're still with me, maybe something is ringing a bell, a bit of resonance there for you. So you may want to follow up on that by either just following along, or go to the website, or come to a Zoom group, or read a book, or whatever. So thanks very much for meditating with me, and see you tomorrow. It'll be a bit later tomorrow for some more meditation. Bye.